Hi, my name is Thomas Skov Jensen and I work as an information consultant at the University Library of the Technical University of Denmark. In this lesson I will look at references and I will talk about reference management and explain how creating a good workflow with regard to references will help you during your writing process. But why should you concern yourself with reference management in the first place? First of all, it will improve the quality of your academic papers. Secondly, it will make you work more efficiently. And thirdly, it will make it easy for you to manage your references. Sound academic work is characterized by consistent use of references. But what is a reference? Well, in this context, a reference means the textual reference to another work of literature or a piece of information. For example, when you refer to or quote from a book, an article, a website in your paper. The format and actual location of the references may differ, but the basic principles are the same. You must be able to see exactly which part of the text is being cited, and all the references in the text must appear in a bibliography at the end of your paper. You use references to enable the reader to distinguish between your results and conclusions and the results and conclusions that appear in the literature you have studied and used in your paper. This is a balancing act. If a substantial part of your paper consists of quotes from other people's work, your paper will lack originality. If you neglect to add references, however, your work may appear subjective and unscientific. In any case, you should keep in mind that the references you use in your paper have two purposes. First of all, they provide documentation for the part of your text that draws upon other people's work, so that the reader can identify which part of the paper are the results of your intellectual efforts and which parts have been written by others. Secondly, the references that make up the bibliography must enable the reader to identify the documents in question. In other words, it is not enough simply to provide an author's name and a title. You must state exactly where and when the document was published. Which of these metadata that is necessary for the precise identification of the document in question will depend on what document type you are referring to. Whether it's an article, a book, a patent, a website, or something else. In your paper, you must demonstrate that you master the art of citing and creating bibliographies. Luckily, there are tools that can help you, so let's turn our attention to reference management tools. When you begin to look for information and literature for your project, it is absolutely essential that your workflow is structured and consistent. In addition to the literature you find yourself, your teacher or supervisor may present you with additional sources and suggestions for particular documents that may be central to your research. Keeping track of all the different documents you find when you begin searching in databases and online can be difficult. So the best advice in terms of avoiding a veritable chaos at this stage is to use a reference management tool, preferably before you do your first searches, or at least very early on in your research process. There are several advantages of using reference management tools. First of all, it will make your information seeking structured and efficient. Secondly, it will help you keep track of all the references you use in your paper. Consider the reference management tool a private library that you can expand and develop as your work progresses. Thirdly, it will give your references, quotations, and bibliography a consistent and professional look. Reference management tools come in many shapes and sizes. Some of the more famous ones include EndNote, RefWorks, Zotero, and Mendeley. All the basic reference management functionalities that we just touched upon will be available to you through these tools. In other words, it is not important which tool you decide to use when you begin collecting references. The most important thing is that you start using a reference management tool. And remember that you will benefit from the collection in your reference management tool if you need to work on a similar research field at some point in the future. In this course, we will introduce you to Mendeley, and therefore we recommend that you use this particular reference management tool during this course.